welcome to the real estate debate on the Property Show. Today the spotlight is on the mega city financial capital of India, Mumbai. Mumbai has expanded and grown to now become Mumbai metropolitan region, the largest metropolis in the country and the sixth largest in the world. Lots of dreams, lots of hopes for a great home in the city, but it's not that easy to own a home. We will bring you and put the spotlight on how can you make Mumbai more affordable? Has the buyer interest come back? Is there some amount of positive energy in Mumbai's real estate market post the budget? And of course, post the big announcements by the Reserve Bank of India on affordable housing. Let me welcome my panel today. With me, I have Boman R. Irani, CMD Rustomjee, and Vice President MCHI Credai. Welcome. Also Gaurav Gupta, Director Omkar Realtors and Developers, Mayur Shah, MD Marathon Realty Limited and VP MCHI Credai, and Ghulam Zia, Executive Director Knight Frank India. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me. I think we'll go to the larger questions of the budget and affordable housing, which everybody in Mumbai is hoping will yield to some right-priced homes. But first, I think for the buyers who've been waiting on the fence and have been looking at Mumbai's real estate market very closely, Boman, has the mood changed? The stock markets are roaring ahead. They say it's the Modi effect. Has the real estate market also got that excitement?
So there's a lot of enthusiasm, Manisha, that's come into the market as of right now. People are looking at what they call their home for the future. And as you just rightly described, Mumbai has grown into the MMR region, a very large area which is well connected by a good amount of infrastructure. We could always do with more, but good amount of infrastructure. So there's a lot of interest in these homes which are coming out. And after the budget, what has really worked out well is the added advantage coming to every home buyer in terms of his interest subvention or getting a tax break on that. So all these factors led together, I think the right homes in the right place at the right price will be something that the home seeker is been long seeking and he will find soon.
Mm-hmm. But have sales picked up, Gaurav? Because we did see a very, very dull 2013, and I think all developers came out and said that they hadn't seen probably worse times. Those times were perhaps more worse or than 2009. Do you think that some amount of excitement has come back amongst the buyers?
I think definitely, if you look at it as a trend, I wouldn't say, only the budget. If you go pre-budget, 6 months as well, where the Modi effect or the euphoria had just started in the country.
So the Modi effect in real estate, Mumbai had started before Modi coming to power.
No, the Modi euphoria, when he was going to come into power, that had an impact on Bombay sales as well. So, since the past 6-7 months, we've seen quite a lot of sales, actually picking up. Post-budget, what has probably happened is there were a few fence-sitters, who were waiting whether to go this way, that way. I think we've seen those fence-sitters coming back once the budget has come around. But I think a bit of differentiation has taken place. Historically, if you look at the Bombay buyer, typically it was only based on location, location, location. I think probably what has changed is, with a lot of education coming in, with a lot of media getting involved is, today if you look at a buyer, he's become extremely smart. He not only looks at the location, he looks at the developer, the brand, the permissions, the contractor, what is the product, what is the price. So I think as long as you're able to offer him all these 6-7 different, you are able to tick mark all these boxes.
You're saying that the buyer has
a buyer.
Okay,
there is a buyer.
The buyers say. So I'm looking at some data, Mayur, and Mumbai unsold stock rose 26% in the first quarter of this year, calendar year, compared to the last quarter. So 2014, though Gaurav is saying that things did look up, it's not showing in the data at all. Navi Mumbai unsold stock rose by 14.2%. Thane, where there's a huge supply, it rose by about 9%. And absorption in all these three markets fell. New launches fell. So the data at least was looking a little bit frightening for Mumbai's market. Now, do you think the developers have that courage to come out and start aggressively launching products again without having to think of various innovative schemes to get sales to take off?
Yeah, Manisha, what we saw is that last year till December, market was really very, very slow, and I think most of this data is reflected out of that. And we saw from January onwards, things moving a little bit slowly improving. And by April or so, it has really picked up. And post the new government where the stability is now assured, and everybody was expecting a very positive story on economic growth employment generation, and all those things. So those things have really excited. If you look at even inflation data coming down, so a lot of positive factors have gone
But does
into
the end buyer
thing.
really see an inflation data? You're saying the mood has overall
The mood
improved, and yet
perception, because the real
green
est-
shoots were
yeah.
seen in real estate even before the budget.
Yeah, real estate and housing is absolutely on perception. So people have to really look at it, that how is it going to happen? Whether am I buying at the right time or should I wait? And that's what we are seeing, is that people have now started coming out. And really, if you look at the visits, the inquiries and conversion at all our locations have grown by 15 to 20% in the
Ram,
last
I'm
quarter.
seeing a lot of change in perception here. I remember doing an MCHI discussion and debate last year, and there was a lot of negativity within the developer community. Buyers were not wanting to bite the bullet. Prices continue to go up in Mumbai. That's one thing which doesn't change. Prices don't come down. Sum up for us. I mean, obviously all of them are on one side. They can feel that excitement. Where do you think the challenges are for a buyer still when it comes to the MMR market?
Well, first of all, a very general view on sentiments that we're talking about, and I won't deny that sentiments do drive the housing market. But when a stable government comes in, there was always expected to see a sudden upsurge in sales, etc. But the longevity of that upsurge is always a question. We have seen the similar thing happening when the UPA 2 came in with a better outlook than the UPA 1.
Right.
We did see something happening of similar nature even then. But the question is, how long will it sustain? Now, what we have seen recently about some right moves by the government in terms of a good budget, in terms of a few announcements related to real estate industry about financings and so on and so forth. So these are a few positive things which will only add to that euphoria a bit more. So I would say that perhaps it will be longer lasting the way things are going, and if we continue on the same track, if we continue to improve the overall sentiment, if we continue to give positive signals to industry, to buyers and so on, then it will be long lasting. If all these things are just the perception related thing, only sentiment related thing, then it will stop somewhere.
But that holds for the entire economy, doesn't it? I mean, if all these good promises don't translate into action, then you will have probably not an economic recovery, and those are days that we don't want to talk about or discuss at this moment. Okay, let me come to a couple of markets. So let's just focus first on Mumbai, then we go on to Navi Mumbai and Thane. So these are your three largest markets. In Mumbai, luxury, I guess everything's almost become luxury, isn't it? Because land prices itself, or land itself, is so scarce. Has there been a reorientation amongst the developers? Has there been a learning in the last 2 years on what you were doing right and what you haven't done right?
I think definitely there's been a big learning, and I think a part of the learning also relates to the changing environment in terms of regulations as well as the overall economic condition. So you talked about in Bombay. Historically, if you look at it in Bombay, you always had a 2 BHK. We never had a 1 BHK, for instance. If you talk about the proper city limits, municipal limits of the city rather. You always had a 2 BHK also, which was typically in a size of 1400, 1350 square feet, I think with the change in regulations which is taking place and the new development control regulations coming into play, I think you'll see new products coming into the market,
Which is a 1 BHK?
You will see probably a 1 BHK coming up in the range of 700 odd square feet. You'll see a 2 BHK in the range of 950 to 1000 square feet, 1100 square feet probably. Because I think everyone is realized.
Okay, so hold your thought. That's a very big trend, and I think media and many other people, even experts, Baman, that I speak to across the country, say houses in Mumbai are getting smaller and smaller. So the value that the buyer is getting is actually reducing.
Can I give you the reason why evolution in housing is continuously taking place? It's about what we use grows, it's about what we don't use reduces, right? You look at the average Mumbai individual, he spends more time out of his house than he does in his house, right?
Okay.
So when he comes home also, he wants to go into, let's say, squash court or his gym or his swimming pool. He takes care of himself. He wants a few good food courts where he can take his entire family out. So he goes to the neighborhood mall, he goes to some nice eateries. He comes home. Very rarely will you see a home which has a very large bedroom as such, because we use it more to just go
Efficiently.
efficiently. I would like to use that word in the future. The point is, so we've made the kitchen smaller. We've made the living rooms. We've eradicated balconies because balconies are something that we are not really using at all.
Right.
So the good old days with the balconies, etc., are gone. So the home has evolved as a whole. It's not really become smaller or shrunk in size.
Would you agree with that? I mean, the design itself is becoming smarter and more efficient, or there is more to that story?
Well, that's obviously one side of it. And the other side is related to the input costs, which have also gone up. And the biggest input cost, if I can talk about, is the cost of land itself. So today, if your FSI costs are shooting up, if acquiring land in the city, getting permissions to develop, etc., are costing you so much more. And let's not even talk about cost of construction yet, because that's directly linked to the inflation and going up and up every year on year. So with all those things, then comes in the affordability of a buyer. And at least in Mumbai, the point that they talk about, or the word that they use is ticket size. How much is it that a buyer can afford in terms of how many crores or how many lakhs that he can afford? So what you have to do is girak dekh ke puri banna. So you have to actually construct what a buyer would want to have. And that's exactly, I would say, you have to really work around what a buyer's requirements are. And I would fully agree with Baman on that aspect.
All right. Okay. So let's assume that that's what the buyer can afford, and you have to create a product within that affordability limit. But land is again a curious thing. Talking about Mumbai, Mayusha, and you might want to add. So obviously there's enough research being done and said there's so much slum land to be freed up. There is land which can be redeveloped, and there are old buildings which can be redeveloped. Yet I do see, at least for listed companies where you know what their land banks are, there are times, some quarters where you don't have any visibility of projects. It's a huge challenge, isn't it, for Mumbai developers?
Yeah, so within Mumbai, see, we are going through urban renewal. So the schemes keeps on changing. You know, we have a slum scheme, we have 33-7, 33-9. Now there's a cluster development which is going to be announced. So all these schemes are evolving of urban renewal.
Too slow, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite slow, and the process of getting the consents, getting approvals, going through environmental clearance, it's very, very tedious process. And that's the reason you have a very limited supply coming in. But in a long run, you will see a huge, in a 20-year, 10-year cycle, you will see a huge redevelopment or urban renewal happening within Mumbai. And for that, as a matter of fact, the only way is going upward.
Are you vertical? Yes, we will
Yes.
come to going vertical for Mumbai, but are you confident about that? Because, you know, I can see in Urban Decay, there are McKinsey reports, there's just everybody who's talking about Mumbai becoming more and more of a slum rather than, you know, so you do have glitzy, the quality of high rises is improving, but then the rest of the city is also decaying. Is the process too slow? Is it frustrating, Baman?
Manisha, the key is God stopped making land, right? But by acts of government, you can continue to improve and increase the FSI available in a city. This done well, and we have had so many chances. We still have so many more. We had the entire, mill lands. We had your entire BKC created. Now we've got the entire BPT lands available. So we can create world-class infrastructure which would allow a city to really develop. So everything that you talk about, high-rise, I mean, today go back to New York. New York is a lot more dense city than Mumbai is, but it functions a lot better because it's got 3 layers of transport available. It's got the entire city interconnected. It's got its zones marked out. It's got its open spaces. Even in the most dense areas, they've created all these old gardens that are still continue to exist. Under those gardens, they've kind of put in a lot of infrastructure. It just depends on how it's planned, right? You look at the old Ambassador, and I'll just give you an example out here. It used to be a big car, right? But it still didn't do half as much efficient as let's say, the Maruti that came after it. And the Maruti was 1/2 or 1/3 its size. The point is, how do you plan? How do you plan a city? How do you plan a building? How do you plan your life? Everything is about what's put in over there by virtue of
Are
being
you
thoughtful.
confident that Mumbai can reinvent itself?
I think
It's a big
Mumbai
question.
can far outstrip anything that we have ever imagined. You've got the most intelligent developers, not only local talent, but talent from around the world that is willing to come over here, not only take it up as a business, but more as a challenge for the
So
gratification
what's the bottleneck? Policy.
I would
government?
say mindset. I would say cost. I would say this entire fear that there'd be a lot of money being made by a few people. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. When real estate policies come into play, like it or not, give them a 10 to 15-year cycle, you cannot change tracks midway because a building which is built in concrete takes a lot of time for planning, with the human angle coming in, especially in redevelopment, that takes that much more time, that much more energy, that many more feelings to work on. You cannot change policy halfway through. It is a request and a begging almost to the policymakers that take as much time as you want to make the policy, but once the policy is made, just let it flow.
Just stick with it.
Just let it flow, because there is enough intelligence here in the development side, and I can speak for the MCHI CredI developers. You speak to us. We've got the entire world as our canvas. We've seen things around the world. I believe not one of us out here wants to create anything that is short of the best in the world, right? We want to be there. Each one of us has got our own individual brands. We are all the young generation that works more for the desire of creation than of course, we're looking at business, but we're looking at the desire of creation, and we all want to live in the city. I want my kids to grow up out here. I want them to have the best life in the world.
I think that having a personal
Manisha,
stake means a lot, but going vertical is a big debate. That already you have urban infrastructure which is crumbling. If you increase the FAR, increase the density, it's not going to be good for the city. So how do you justify
Manisha,
the? I'm glad to hear, but just your view on going vertical for Mumbai, is that the solution, Ghulam? The biggest one, is that the low-hanging fruit? Just go ahead and do it, and then of course the rest of it will follow.
Unfortunately, at the moment, there is no other alternative, because we're talking about creation of a new city altogether. Unfortunately, it's a brownfield situation. It's not a greenfield situation where you will start from scratch. So here, if you're talking about creating infrastructure, facilities, and so on and so forth, and only after that would you start developing the city, well, I don't think you can do that. So if that not be the case, then what else? The only solution then is going vertical. But then how do you keep pace with the vertical requirement of the city is the biggest challenge that perhaps the policymakers are terrified of or fear of that, and hence not allowing the city to grow vertical, because they can't keep pace with the requirement of infrastructure to come alongside the development capability and potential of the developer fraternity.
All right, so it's always a chicken and an egg situation, isn't it, when it comes to any large city of India? But we are hoping that with that huge amount of money kept aside for urban renewal in the budget, 50,000 crore, it's gone up from 5,000 crore to 10x, that India cities will get the attention that they need. On the other side, affordable housing for Mumbaikars. McKinsey report says that a household which earns an income of 5 lakh rupees per annum, and that's not small by any means, cannot afford a house in the Mumbai region, or maybe just Mumbai. We'll ask the developers that when we come back. You're watching the Real Debate on Mumbai Metropolitan Region. Stay with us.